Okay, this one's called Scenes from a Jump. This is also from when I first moved here to New York. Basically, when I moved here to New York, I was doing some freelance writing. I cashed in my pension fund from Pure, Illinois, so I had a little money to live on. And so I was just going around freelancing because you can't live if you're just moved here and you're freelance writing because you don't pay a shit. So anyway, I was freelancing for some weekly papers like the Manhattan Spirit, and basically you start with the weeklies and then you send stuff to the dailies and magazines, and you're always hoping to get your big break. And I'd gotten one break because I just heard from New York Newsday from an editor there. I'd sent them a pitch list, and he had called me and said he wanted me to do something, which was great news because A, they paid good money, and B, it would be great exposure because Newsday's a pretty big paper out here. So I was all happy and excited about that, so I thought, oh, I'm going to go out and celebrate. So I was going to go to have a few beers at this bar called the P&G Bar. And on my way there was like a big crowd of people on Amsterdam Avenue, and they're all looking up at this building. And I kind of looked up, and I didn't really see anything. And so I remember a guy was holding the New York Post, and I went over to him and I said, what are you all looking at up there? He said, can't you see that guy up there? He's going to jump. And I look up, and sure as shit, there's a guy up there. And I said to him, I said, do you think he's really going to jump? And he's like, well, I hope so. You know, I've been standing here for like 5 minutes. And that struck me funny. And then I could tell the whole mood of the crowd was that they wanted this guy to jump. And in a weird way, I kind of did too, just to see what would happen. And then I started thinking, wow, this would be a great article. So I ran home, I got a pad, I got my camera, and I'm like, wow, I'll call it Scenes from a Jump. And, you know, it'll be, you know, different people's reactions and quotes from people, and I was really excited. I thought this could be like a front page story. You know, if only this fucker jumps. So that's what this story is all about, and here's 2 paragraphs from it. A pitch list is a list of ideas for possible stories. You have the title and then maybe a 50-word synopsis of what the story will be. I sent Mises a list, and he assigned me to write a freelance feature on it about a raging Latino wrestling gym that puts on a low-rent all-star wrestling show every Friday night. I asked him how long he wanted it, and Mises told me just to write it, and we'd work from there. That was good news. Maybe I'd get some decent space. I wrote the story, they assigned a photographer, and 2 weeks later, I had a 2-page feature story in Newsday. 2 full fucking pages in one of the city's major dailies. That was a decent clipping. And Mises agreed to another story I had pitched. I'd seen a store in Midtown Manhattan that sold nothing but accordions and thought it would be an amusing feature story. Kind of like the bit on Saturday Night Live about the store that only sold Scotch tape. Mises gave me the green light to write that one up too. Hot fucking damn. 1 story published in a big-time newspaper and 1 more on the way. I felt like my ship was definitely on the horizon, so I decided to go out and have a few beers at a bar and celebrate. It was a crisp November afternoon as I made my way towards the P&G Bar on 72nd in Amsterdam. At the time I lived on 75th and Broadway, so it was a short jaunt. About 2 blocks into my stroll, I noticed a group of people gathered on the corner, all looking up towards the sky. I stopped, looked up, and just saw the sky. I asked a short, bald guy, clutching a copy of the New York Post, what everybody was staring at. Look up at the top of that building, he excitedly told me, waving the Post in the direction of the roof of the 15-story building. There's some asshole up there who's going to jump. And, I just went blank again. That was a decent clipping. God, I just lost my place where I was reading. Fuck.